to Undisputed. Hope you had a nice weekend. I'm Jenny Taft with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. How are we doing today, guys?
Jenny, we are doing fine. I am doing much better than Skip, but hey, nevertheless, I'm sure hopefully everyone had a great Easter or Passover, whatever you celebrate. Hopefully it was great. I'm doing well.
All I want to say is I never thought I'd see the night that I would be out of my mind excited to watch professional basketball players play horse live in their driveways. But it has come to this, and thank God for small favors.
Yes, Skip, you're exactly right. This is what it's come to, and this is what we've been forced to watch. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, shooting basketball in their backyard.
Hey, you know what? We will take it at this point, and we did have a little bit of basketball last night, and that is how we are going to start the show today by discussing the NBA horse competition. So here is who advanced. Zach LaVine, Mike Conley, Chauncey Billups, and Allie Quigley all move on to the semifinals. But really the biggest upset that we may have seen was Billups, who came back from 3 letters down to take down Trae Young with 5 straight letters. So Shannon, I start with you. Your biggest takeaway from this horse competition?
Skip, if you remember when we were discussing this, I think last week, maybe a week before, I said Trae Young would be one of the guys that would probably do well in a situation like this. And so it was, as Jenny mentioned, it was a huge upset. But Skip, I'm watching some of these people shoot, and they were shooting on goals like I grew up in my backyard. I mean, some of them was bent, some of them was leaning. And I'm like, is that a regulation goal? Mike Conley had the perfect sit-up. So, Skip, moving forward, I'm going to pick Mike Conley because he doesn't have to worry about the elements. He doesn't have to worry about the wind, doesn't have to worry about it being cold, too hot. He has a regulation, like an NBA-size setup going on here. And I'm also going to pick him, Skip, because he seems to be the guy that can shoot the best with his non-dominant hand. He pulled out some great trick shots, and a lot of times, and Skip, this is what it comes down to in horse, is being able to do a lot of these shots if you're right-handed, being able to lay the ball up behind your back, all kind of things with your non-dominant hand or your left hand. And he seems to be pretty proficient at that. A lot of times, Skip, when playing horse when you were growing up, you kind of saved 1 or 2 of your shots. You didn't want to break those out too early. If the game got close, there's always something you kept in your back pocket. You're like, yes, this is the right time. But in a situation like that, you're trying to win. You're trying to advance. It wasn't like you're trying to advance. You're just trying to beat the guy you're going up against at the end of practice or something of that nature. But Skip, look, I'm sure the NBA would have loved for Steph Curry, would have loved for some of the bigger name guys to participate. But Skip, at this juncture, you take what you can get. And the NBA is trying to provide some form of entertainment, but this is the best what we got. It's kind of like the Pro Bowl, Skip. If you notice, we would have loved to have Tom Brady. When's the last time Tom Brady participated in the Pro Bowl? We'd love to get Aaron Rodgers or some of the bigger names. But for the most part, they tend to shy away. And that's what we have right now. But it was fun to watch, and I'm looking forward to watching it again because, Skip, this is the only source of live entertainment that we get. There's only so many classics that you can watch, be it football or basketball. So I'm ready to see something at least I can say, okay, this is live.
By the way, you left out one, we love to see something. We love to see LeBron James just one time in his life participate in a dunk contest. But no, we're in year 17 and LeBron has avoided the dunk contest. A little later in the show, we're going to talk about the one time that LeBron made the mistake of playing horse against a little guy half his size, but I'll get to that in a little while. Back to this competition that we saw last night. Shannon, I told you last week I got a big problem with the rules. I need the rules to be a little more specific to create a little more level, so to speak, playing field or playing driveway as it was last night. My problem with the rules is that they're saying no dunking, but you can do anything else that you want to do just short of dunking, which is why I'm going to have a hard time picking against Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine is 6 feet 6 inches tall. Zach LaVine has won 2 slam dunk contests on All-Star Weekend and was right in the middle of a couple of more that he could have won. We know he can jump out of the gym. Furthermore, we also know he can get as hot shooting threes as sometimes Steph and Clay get hot shooting threes. And he's a 38% career three-point shooter. So he's got that in his arsenal, as well as one shot that nobody in the competition can do. And that is what he did to poor Paul Pierce, who looked like he hadn't played basketball since he last played for the, the Clippers in 2017.
Clippers.
Again, yeah, Zach LaVine goes up and under by slapping one side of the backboard with his left hand and then coming back up and under with his right hand. No big deal if you're a slam dunk contest winner, but poor Paul Pierce has got no chance. He can't even, well, we used to say the last 5 years of his career, he looked like he was playing with a piano on his back. So what chance did he have of even getting like 6 inches off the ground, let alone enough to slap the backboard and go up and under? It's just not a fair fight. So if Zach LaVine is going to resort to those shots, it's impossible.
Skip, not to cut you off, but Paul Pierce in his prime couldn't have pulled that shot off, let alone 3-4 years after his prime.
No, I so agree with you. So back to Mike Conley. I love Mike Conley, and I used to hate Mike Conley because I had to watch him play my Spurs in playoff games 21 times. He haunted the Spurs. He bedeviled the Spurs. He tormented the Spurs with all manner of clutch shot making. And I kept saying, is he right-handed or left-handed? Because I don't know. Sometimes he just naturally shoots a right-handed jump shot like he's right-handed. And I say, okay, he's right-handed. Then the next time he comes down and shoots it left-handed, and I think, well, I've never seen anybody so ambidextrous. I know he shoots free throws left-handed, but he can shoot them right-handed too. I don't know. That gives him a huge distinct advantage, obviously, in a game of horse. And that one shot that he made last night where he drove down the lane and went up and under and shot sort of like a hook shot, a scoop shot, all the way back up over the backboard, back down through. That's just unfair. And then he's paired up against poor Tamika Catchings, who's 40 years of age and last played 5 years ago. And she's now the GM, obviously, of the Indiana Fever. And poor Tamika, who is an all-time great WNBA player, is stuck out on her driveway in a crosswind, and it looked like the wind chill was below 30 degrees. So she's blowing on her hand. She's having a hard time in every shot. As anybody who knows who's played driveway basketball, nothing worse than the wind to kill any kind of a shot beyond 5 feet. So that was a mismatch. But to your point, when you have Mike Conley Jr. getting to play inside his home gym, he was the only one inside. Well, that's not a fair fight because he knows all the angles, all the shots, and there's obviously going to be no wind inside his home gym in Columbus, Ohio. So now back to the rule, Shannon. If we had a rule in this competition, no shots inside the lane, then I would give Mike Conley a real shot. But I don't think even Mike can pull off, slap it. He's 6 feet tall. Can he slap one side of the backboard and scoop it up and under? Listen,
Probably
Zach
not.
LaVine no, he just can't. So Zach LaVine could go right to all of his dipsy-do athletic gymnastic moves, rockabye baby. You don't have to dunk it. You could just lay it over the rim. So you can beat the system with lots of dunk contest moves without actually dunking it. And now it's not a fair fight. So I haven't even mentioned Allie Quigley yet. And she was, to me, the most impressive shooter of the whole evening. Because Allie Quigley has, she's 33 years old, but she's made the All-Star team the last 3 years. She bounced around for a while in the WNBA, but now she's with the Chicago Sky. And she was on her driveway in Deerfield, which is just north of Chicago, not far from the Berto Center where Michael Jordan's Bulls practiced. And she looked like she was Jordan-esque, at least as a competitor, because what I loved about her, and this is going to be a key, if you win the toss, you can go first. And you better make your first shot. And she did. And she got Chris Paul on his heels right from the start, because she turned right around and made a corner three. And it's like, boom, here we go. And I loved her demeanor and her backbone in this competition, because she won the toss and was like, yes. And you could tell she just said, like, here we go. Give me the ball. Let me shoot it. And once she made her first shot, then she could resort to all of her bags, so to speak, and she could pull out all kinds of shots, including the Pete Maravich Memorial. I'm going to sit on the concrete and shoot it in off the backboard. Not an easy shot, and she got a letter on Chris on that one. He hung in, made a bunch of gutsy shots. He pulled off a couple that I'd never seen, a sort of a turnaround sideways off one leg from the free throw line. He made that. She couldn't even get that one to the rim. But in the end, she just withstood the onslaught and held him off and made a lot of clutch shots. But I will say this for Allie Quigley. She had a huge advantage in her driveway because her backboard was a little flimsy. So it gave her a slight edge, because she shot a lot of bank shots, a lot of bank free throws, bank threes from the top, and it was much more forgiving. Her backboard would forgive, deaden the bounce a little bit, so it would fall through easier. Chris's was